you know, OEMs, system integrator, then comes your poor fellow. Idea is OEMs sell the product. This guy comes in between, who is a service product, goes to a tendering, this and that. OEM is on the somewhere there. Okay.
Somewhere in the cloud.
Somewhere in the cloud. I think that's now, whenever there is an issue with this poor fellow, he always catches it this way. This is really because his focal point is the system integrator. What I am trying to say is OEM has to get involved with the user. Because unless you understand the user, somebody was saying, you know, it's not about making a product available for user to implement. This guy, so-called SI, he might be doing a good job, I'm not disputing on that, but very fact that whatever you have thought of during the designing of the product or the way it should deliver services, it's not. I think you...
Because there is
so you see, I mean, if you look at the basic tenet of, let's say in this case, the public cloud, you know, for example, when we deliver, I didn't want to call out a product, but I think I'm forced to at this point in time, let's say a Windows Azure, which is a public cloud, complete ownership and responsibility is taken up by the, you know, by the OEM, or let us say an Office 365. Complete ownership is taken up by the OEM. Now the question is, to what extent is the government currently with these sovereignty issues and, you know, trans-border kind of a thing, plus your own, you know, thing about, you know, keeping sensitive data within on-premises and not on the cloud. You know, that's the issue.
Yeah, that's
otherwise, cloud is the perfect solution for bringing in OEM or a vendor responsibility and accountability for delivering these.
I am very happy. That part is taken care of.
So we are running our own data center and delivering that. We are completely responsible for this.
Regarding the legacy system, I think what we can do is that today, since we are talking about clouds, I agree that legacy systems, some of them are very good. I just don't want to leave them, right? So I would like to upgrade them to a new technology. What we can do is that by the time we are doing some job which are already in electronic mode and we want to upgrade them, at the same time there are certain activities which we are doing for the first time. So let's just start them with the cloud technology. Like we are doing UID for the first time. So it is not dependent on any kind of legacy system because it's not using secondary data. So whenever we are using primary data, right, that should be on cloud. And whenever we are utilizing some secondary data, then those applications should be protected. Because otherwise what happens...
By the way, I mean, which is a good point, you've made a very good point, but then if you take the chain of UID forward, because UID by itself is no outcome. Okay, UID is just a data repository. By the next step of that UID is going to be authentication and running with the application, right? So therefore we cannot do away with that interoperability, the open standards factor that necessarily needs to.
Actually, one important factor as a commercial company like us, we want to focus this. Being a public sector, we need to be very, very transparent in our dealings and we need to follow certain procedures. Now, how I will take care of that, avoiding the vendor locking? Today there is no standards. There is no standard of data migration. Today, if I give it to my data to someone else, if you are not happy with the services, what is the guarantee that I will get my data intact? The same quality of data I'm going to come back. How easily I'm going to be able to migrate? That's important issues to being a major bottleneck block minder for us.
Because you think for the best, but you prepare for the worst.
So standards today.
That would still remain in a cloud scenario. If you go for a private vendor who's providing the cloud services, how easy would it be for you to move from one cloud service?
That is another problem.
So that actually brings another question, that the government should establish its own cloud.
So we should
go to OEMs like Microsoft.
That's
another question.
Another important issue. That is the cost.
They take a strategy.
What is today may not be good, may not be good tomorrow. How they take care.
So it will happen as you have
evolution has been the way of life. I mean, we can't stop working just because there is.
So for example, today you have number portability, right? On mobile phone we have number portability.
This is one of
the standards which have come as
I'll add one point. See, I think Rajiv earlier said about the e-content and all that. Probably we are at the right time to get content or education onto cloud. One reason is probably nature knowledge network. Second is, I think many of the states, and including HRD, is going for tablets to students. Okay, with tablets being available to students, the content gets available. I think the usage of cloud as a will dramatically increase. So probably this could be one, if it is done well, one killer application which can
fully appreciate.
Because you see, there is no, in every family there is no doctor. There may be a situation. There is no
fully appreciate.
But every family has a student.
Kind of a services which has a appeal to masses, like sir was telling, education, health services.
Yes.
Who is asking you to put your own data center?
Yeah.
It's a health service. It's an education service. So these kind of services we should focus first.
That is exactly what I wanted to say. Whenever most of us, whether they're vendors, consultants, everything, when we talk about government services, we have always been maybe tuned to look at the complex ad hoc services. Say, for example, passport, which a person will make once in 10 years.
Exactly. That's
So,
what
when you're talking about cloud, if you think about everyday services, which
Exactly.
could be pulled from the open
Yeah.
data and you need to write that.
Correct.
But we are somewhat focused on bidding, tendering and those kinds of issues. Not a killer app which could be used by masses and you won't even probably have to go to the government version. So if you could put those kinds of innovative services onto the cloud, say for example, entire Singapore government program started with an application called change of address. Where you could fill up a form and change it at 30 places in your LIC, in your bank, in your gas connection and everything. So if through cloud, as you said, UID can only be available on a cloud as authentication service, which can be used for providing n number of
Similar example, there is an application called I-24 by
where the end user might pay you directly. You don't even have to bid to the government for having a huge project on passports, which is used by the end user only once in 10 years.
I just want to raise one question a bit so far. I think we discussed a lot of aspects about how cloud can be adopted, but just coming back to the India stand, who's going to lead the cloud initiative in the public sector? Is it the center, as you rightly said, it's disjointed, whether it's DIT, whether it's center ministries or state, or then you have MCDs as well, with the city councils and city district administrations. They can also actually do cloud services. Right? There's a huge potential of delivering localized cloud services as well. So suddenly if MCD wakes up and says, hey, I've got a huge IT budget and I want to spend, then you would have various disjointed efforts of cloud. So the fundamental question I think that we are all facing is who starts and takes the initiative to start putting these services together. We talked about collaboration, we talked about putting those services together. So who in the country takes initiative?
See, the answer to that is we have tried to find it out while we were making a mobile government policy. It has to, the fact that a single cloud serving every line ministry in government is totally out of the question. There have to be multiple vertical clouds which are line ministry based or central based. As you rightly said, the municipality, the e-district project probably is one of the very good candidates for a cloud service because one, this is localized, but this is a national MMP. So the services are defined, everything is there. One cloud-based solution.
My assessment on this is that it will get spawned by two forces. One is, as Vikas was mentioning, that there are set of projects, let's say an e-district project or a municipality urban project, where probably there will be line ministry which is stronger, which also has a greater funding stake for state level execution, where they are going to have some sort of a planned way of moving forward. There's going to be another force, which is like, a sort of a nuclear forces, where they grow by examples. So for example, we did some implementation where two states are sharing service delivery. We have another example where, from a public safety point of view, there is an organization which has come forward and, know your police station kind of thing. So, that's going to be another force which is going to act as a nucleus on top of which, there are other, agencies or states or departments or line ministries may come and build on top of that. So I think both these forces are going to be.
Just one thing, I'll give you an example. So I did a very quick, Google about what others are doing in the Asia Pacific region. So 3 examples which are really diverse from the cloud implementation. Let's look at Taiwan for a moment. So Taiwan in 2010, which is 2 years, they had 2,000 government entities. They brought them together. They said, I want to consolidate into 2 or 3 major clouds. Now, I know Taiwan may not be a good model to replicate.
For India,
the scale itself is so different. There is this one country which is doing that. Right? Over there, the investment was by the private partner. The private partner, which is the largest telecom provider, there, Changhua Telecom, invested about 400 billion in building that infrastructure. So, to that previous question of sir, whether it should be government or private, it is the private entity which is in fact building that, and then they would reap the benefit of the period of time. China is a completely different model, which is comparable to what probably you saying. They believe, of course, that the cloud can change China's existence in the IT industry itself. So they are looking at cloud as a leapfrog from being, their staggering IT kind of portfolio into the next model. Because if you think of IT industry, you don't think of China. So with cloud, they're saying, we'll leapfrog into a new revolution. There, the approach is totally fragmented. Cities are going in for a different cloud. They've got pilot cloud projects where they've picked up the 5 biggest cities and they've started putting in cloud services. And majority of these services are government. And what's going to potentially happen is that these services are so fragmented that eventually the complete realization of cloud benefits may not get realized.
Because the governance model is to hide the infrastructure. Cloud talks about publishing them.
Absolutely.
So very pertinent.
What's the approach?
Then who will lead this? I think I do not have the answer as to who will lead it, but I do have a suggestion that who should lead it. See, we have no dearth of human capital, neither do we have dearth of knowledge capital. But what is missing in our scenario is the industry-academia collaboration. See, even smaller countries, you will feel that in the universities there are research centers, right, sponsored by various industrial big houses. But in India, it is still in a very nascent stage. There are some at IITs and so on. But we do have potential in academics. There are people, there are students who would like to work like, see, you don't give an injection to a person until that medicine is truly tested. So until unless you have it developed, debated by academicians, well, I'm not saying they will be the only experts, but industry and academics people together, if they can take the lead.
And government.
Obviously.
Because otherwise they will not work.
Government is somewhere in the government.
It has to be an umbrella activity there.
Samir, I have another angle. Sure. Let me put it to you. Your question is who should take the initiative? My question is why should I take that initiative? Now to answer both of together, right? Who and why? First and foremost thing is we need to Samir probably work on your media, some media, maybe some channels, but there has to be a clear-cut kind of a straightforward policies, straightforward rules, straightforward regulations whenever we move to the cloud, which is exactly missing edge of the template. So that is one part. So once that part is done, now who should move into the cloud? First, you have a process in place, once you have a framework in place, rule regulation in place. I am pretty sure that even if I am going to a advanced technology, which will benefit me maybe multiple, maybe 2 times, 3 times, I have no second thought in going there. Who will always come? The point is, why and where are those concerns addressed, like everybody of us we are raising, that answer is not coming from anywhere. So government has to work on those directions, sitting with the industry partner, they have to work together and come out with a strategy. There is a fear factor of each one of us moving towards that environment. So today if you ask me, okay, put in some data in some data center, I will easily go and put there. Because I know there are a straightforward policy, a git management strategy. I know if there is a vendor lock scenario, how to come out. I know how to charge a penalty. I know how to penalize the vendor. I know how to come out, even if penalize, how to come out and take the charge entirely back by the department. Everything is in place. But this new technology, cloud technology, goes in our entire industry.
See, in
Now, second part, the coming back department-wise, that is automatically enforced. Like the major part is the person, I always tell the person who is having the most of the power is the finance guy, right? But each of these projects are driven by finance, somewhere or some other way, right? Whether it is line ministry, whether it is state department, or whether it is some are funded by DIT. So the moment you say that I am financing the part, so I have the superpower, so I have to drive that. I am the person who need to decide because it's my money, I am the department money I am putting, I should be accountable for. So then automatically things will fall into place.
See, as a culture, we do not want to be part of a risky project if given a choice. Right? Because whenever there is a policy implementation or a policy study, we only look at the result: pass, fail, outstanding, excellent, poor. We never try to look at the process that somebody has gone on. If that process has certain golden points, right, we just dump it because the final result is poor.
I think one thing which is coming out clearly is that we do need an institutional mechanism for handling the cloud.
Policy and template.
Going on to the cloud.
Just want to understand from you all that what kind of an institutional mechanism you suggest? Should it be DIT who should take lead? Should it be line department? Should it be state government? Or should be an independent regulator?
How does it matter?
It matters a lot because if you are collaborating, there's a benefit realization. Not the target which you're looking at. Then the question is, why should I actually go to cloud? Because they're not benefiting. Why should anybody actually
It really matters. And I can tell you, Samir, not everybody can do that. If there is a policy to be framed, it is the government who has to frame the policy.
That's true.
No, not I can frame the policy, not he can frame, not he can frame the policy. So when it comes to policy issues, definitely the government. When it comes to the solutioning and technology part, why one should move into the cloud, you have to sit with the private partners, even while formulating the policy. You have to sit with the service provider and the private partners. They understand what policy needs to drive this kind of technology. Simply formatting a policy in papers, it doesn't work.
No, my answer as to how does it matter means, my answer to how does it matter, that who starts it, starts from Neeraj's starting point, that there are two forces, inside out and outside in. Right? So we might force the government, or we might give him the suggestion, or government can come to us for their suggestion. So we can build it anyway, bottom up or top down.
Basically, the idea is having those simple templates that any government agency to move on to the cloud, which are there for infrastructure projects. Since you said finance is the most powerful, then someone like Planning Commission doing this exercise, putting these templates also in the public domain for going on to cloud, or for any IT.
You're absolutely right. But these can be, this does not have to be a separate initiative. These need to be woven into the MMPs themselves.
We've done it in mobile government. Say, for example, if you have to go to the MSDG, any government department who wants to use MSDG, there is a very one-pager SLA which they sign with DIT and move on to the MSDG.
And they are already happening. See, there are
In fact, yesterday I had a meeting with MSDG for our police verification part of the Thana level.
Today,
Whatever now we may criticize, but we are sitting here today because one of the milestone was ITN. It was well thought and things are improved. So we will always come up. Policy will be needed, policy will be framed.
See, this to your IT point, it doesn't still mention cloud.
That's what I'm saying.
Not a single word.
There is not a single word about
That's what I'm saying. That's one milestone.
I want to bring you in.
We have to keep
what's
evolving.
happening internationally. I mean, you mentioned a couple of countries. So, what about institutional or policy framework globally? And it's not there.
No, it's not there. But what has happened is, again, a lot of companies, but countries have actually taken initiatives to make sure that the cloud adoption becomes accelerated. So, for example, China said in 2010, as per the 12th five-year plan, cloud computing is a major initiative. They said it as a year plan. They allocated about $400 million for establishing 5 pilot projects across 5 of the biggest cities in China. That was my other point, that first we need to understand who in the government starts to put in this framework, policies, templates. And the second aspect is that someone has to say, okay, these are my 5 pilot